230 members responded to the call.
With 230 members responding to the call, Chair declares presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to proceed with the reference of business and request that the Secretary General be directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions on first reading, as well as communications and committee reports.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions for first reading, as well as messages and communications and committee reports for referral to the appropriate committee.
Reference of business. Bills on first reading. House Bill 8019 to reform the budget process by enforcing greater accountability in public financial management by Representative Matibag.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill 8020 strengthening the COMELEC by increasing the manpower complement in its field offices by Representative Matibag.
To the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms.
House Bill 8021 creating the Manila Bay Authority by Representative Matibag.
To the Committee on Government, Enterprises, and Privatization.
House Bill 8022, amending certain sections of RA number 4200, an act to prohibit and penalize wiretapping and other related violations of the privacy of communication by Representative Matibag.
To the Committee on Dangerous Drugs.
House Bill 8023, to enhance the capability and streamline the organizational role of the DND and its bureaus by Representative Subiri.
To the Committee on National Defense and Security.
House Bill 8024, defining defensive driving and providing for the protection of motor vehicle drivers involved in a road accident by Representative Sontay.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 8025, declaring January 22 of every year as a special working holiday to be known as National Farmers' Day by Representative Subiri.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill 8026, regulating the practice of microbiology in the Philippines by Representative Subiri.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill 8027, strengthening the Philippine Coast Guard by introducing policy and organizational reforms by Representative Subiri.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 8028, declaring February 25 of every year as a regular national public non-working holiday in commemoration of the EDSA People Power Revolution by Representatives De Lima, Amatong, Erice, Fresnedi, and Omali.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill 8029, mandating the full disclosure of government transactions through the establishment of a digital budget portal by Representative Pumaren.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill 8030, abolishing the travel tax by Representative Pumaren.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill 8031, establishing a comprehensive fuel subsidy program by Representative De Lima.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 8032, upgrading the Conrado F. Estrella Regional Medical and Trauma Center in Rosales, Pangasinan from a Level 2 General Hospital with 103 beds to a Level 3 General Hospital with 500 beds by Representative Estrella.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 8033, establishing the public schools of the future in technology by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 8034, establishing the Anti-Stunting Action Plan Council in the Philippines by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 8035, further strengthening the incentives for private sector participation in public educational institutions by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture and the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 8036, institutionalizing government support for gifted and talented students by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture and the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 8039, providing for the Magna Carta for out-of-school children and youth, establishing the Out-of-School Children and Youth Coordinating Council by Representatives Diokno, Sendanya, Ismola, and Bagao.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Bill 8040, establishing libingan ng mga bayani annexes in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao by Representatives Malapitan, Asistio, and Bautista, Johan Monich.
To the Committee on National Defense and Security.
House Bill 8041, providing for an affordable public housing program by Representative Remulla.
To the Committee on Housing and Urban Development.
House Bill 8044, establishing a forensic DNA database in the Philippines by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Bill 8045, promoting agriculture among Filipino youth to strengthen national food security by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill 8046, mandating the teaching of tax literacy, consciousness, and responsibility in intermediate, secondary, technical, vocational, and tertiary education by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture and the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 8047, mandating the NDRRMC to promulgate guidelines for the rescue of livestock and working animals in cases of calamity by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Disaster Resilience.
House Bill 8048, establishing a comprehensive and citizen-centric national cybercrime and scam prevention and response framework by Representative Poe.
To the Committee on Information and Communication Technology.
House Bill 8049, providing for the construction of the Camarines Sur Catanduanes Inter-Island Connectivity Project by Representative Rodriguez Eulogio.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 8050, requiring all graduating senior high school and college students to plant 2 trees each as a civic duty for environment protection and preservation by Representative Rodriguez Eulogio.
To the Special Committee on Reforestation.
House Bill 8051, expanding the coverage of the National Feeding Program by Representatives Sendanya, Diokno, Ismula, and Bagao.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 8052, strengthening the National Research Council of the Philippines by Representative Salceda.
To the Committee on Science and Technology.
House Bill 8053, establishing the Student Support Program in Public Schools by Representative Chuatay.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bills 8054, 8055, 8056, 8057, and 8058, converting elementary schools in certain barangays in Zamboanga City into integrated schools by Representatives Perez and Chuatay.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 8059, authorizing the President of the Philippines to contract loans, credit, and indebtedness with any local or foreign source to fund the AFP Modernization Program and the Self-Reliant Defense Posture Program by Representative Panaligan.
To the Committee on National Defense and Security.
House Bill 8060, converting the satellite campus of the Cavite State University in Tanza, Cavite into a regular campus of the Cavite State University by Representative Remulla.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 8061, converting the Southern Luzon State University Infanta, Polillo, and Tayabas Extension campuses in Infanta, Polillo, and Tayabas, Quezon into regular campuses by Representative Enverga.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 8062, declaring the preferential rights of municipal fisherfolk by Representative Legarda.
To the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources.
House Bill 8063, prohibiting the display or advertisement of government officials' names and photos in all government-issued documents, programs, projects, public services, and motor vehicles by Representative Legarda.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws.
House Bill 8064, strengthening anti-littering measures by Representative Abante.
To the Committee on Ecology.
House Bill 8065, eliminating industrially produced trans fatty acids in the food supply by Representative Abante.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 8066, recognizing motorcycles as PUVs by Representative Barba.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 8067, establishing the Bicol Regional Intermodal Terminal by Representative Loria.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 8068, mandating the establishment of the Bicol Economic Gateway, Resilient Grid, and underground utility corridors in the 2nd District of Albay by Representative Loria.
The Committee on Energy.
House Bill 8069, establishing the Governance Matching Grant System by Representative Loria.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 8070, requiring the embedded appropriation and standardized programming of land and right-of-way acquisition costs in all laws authorizing national government infrastructure projects by Representative Loria.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 8071, institutionalizing and strengthening the National Cybersecurity Interagency Committee by Representative Presnedi.
To the Committee on Information and Communication Technology.
House Bill 8072, providing for a national framework for interns' rights and welfare by Representative Presnedi.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill 8073, granting an annual benefit of 20,000 to all Filipino centenarians by Representative Presnedi.
To the Committee on Senior Citizen.
House Bill 8074, strengthening the Philippine Cancer Center by Representatives Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdez Andrea Julian, and Asidre.
The Committee on Health.
Committee Report. Committee Report 134, submitted by the Committee on Youth and Sports Development on House Resolution 820.
The Committee on Rules.
Additional reference of business. Resolutions. House Resolution 819, recognizing the achievement of Tallulah Brooks as the first ever Filipina to have competed and carried the Philippine flag in the Winter Olympics by qualifying and competing in the women's giant slalom in 25th Winter Olympic Games held in Milan and Cortina, Italy this February 2026 by Representative Tolentino.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 821, directing the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries to conduct an inquiry into the practices of bank insurance and investment-linked insurance products on the allocation of risks and losses to depositors and policyholders and to study protective mechanisms similar to PDIC insurance by Representatives Rodriguez Maximo and Rodriguez Rufus.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 822, urging the House Committee on Foreign Affairs and other appropriate committees to conduct an inquiry into the reporting and recruitment of Filipino nationals as mercenaries in the Ukraine-Russia conflict and examining the Philippine government's preventive, protective, and law enforcement measures and to recommend policies to safeguard Filipino citizens from engaging in foreign armed conflicts by Representative Ridon.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 823, directing the Committee on Information and Communications Technology to conduct an inquiry on the reliability, quality, affordability, and consumer remedies relating to internet and data transmission services in the Philippines in light of the implementation of the Konektadong Pinoy Act, Republic Act No. 12234, with the end in view of strengthening service standards, transparency, competition, and digital inclusion by Representatives Adyong, Alba, Aquino, Arbison Monir, Arenas, Asisio, Aumentado, Balindong, Baronda, Cagas, and other House members.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 824, extending a warm welcome to His Excellency President Lee Jae-myung of the Republic of Korea on his state visit to the Republic of the Philippines on 3 to 4 March 2026 and affirming the House of Representatives' unwavering commitment to further deepen the Philippines-Korea friendship, diplomatic relations, and strategic partnership by Representatives D. Faustino, Marcos, Libanon, and Arenas.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we request to acknowledge the guest of the Honorable Representative from the 3rd District of Quezon, Honorable Reynante Arrogancia. They are the following officials and staff from the Municipality of Buena Vista, Province of Quezon. Quezon Mayor Reynaldo E. Rosilia Jr., Quezon Vice Mayor Francisco Ano Nuevo, Councilor Marianito Barolo, Councilor Remedios Osilio, Councilor Joseph Doruelo.
Majority Leader, can we request those who were recognized to please rise to be recognized later? Please remain standing. Continue, Majority Leader.
Councilor Francisco Noblefranca, Councilor Saturnino Loayon, Councilor Lowell Cleope, Councilor Benzon M. Edrad, Councilor Denz D.I.I.R. Tan, the Association of Barangay Captains President Victor P. Tan, Pambayang Federasyon ng mga Sangguniang Kabataan President Christian Nobles, Sangguniang Bayan Secretary Lorenzo Adricola, Sangguniang Bayan Assistant Secretary Elaine Llorien, Sangguniang Bayan Staff Adelina Estrada, Vincent Adricula, Jaylene Pasta, Claire Ann Quaresma, Rosedal Quirubin, Joanne P. Cuento, Charmaine Villaplana, Madeline Bobier, Edeline Camalla, Marivic Añonuevo, Robert Tan, Mr. Erwin Lagundino, and Mr. Lemuel Mortega.
To the guest of Honorable Reynante Arrogancia from the 3rd District of Quezon and our guest to the House of Representatives, your honors, honorables, welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the guest of Representatives Riaco B. Gato from the Lone District of Batanes. These are the Sangguniang members from Municipality of Samtang, Province of Batanes, Councilor Marshall Armando Alvado, Councilor Harold Gabotero, Councilor Angel Candel, Councilor Hendrik Servillon, and Councilor Harold Calves.
To the guest of Representative Seriato Gato, our Chairman, Committee on Health. Sir, Ma'am, Honorables, welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
I would like to acknowledge the guest of Honorable Alfel Basuk from the 1st District of Agusan del Sur and Honorable Eddie Bong Plaza from the 2nd District of Agusan del Sur. Their guests are from the Office of the Vice Governor and Sangguniang Panglalawigan of Agusan del Sur. Vice Governor Patricia Ann P. Plaza, Sangguniang Panglalawigan members Honorable Cesar Alonde, Honorable Gina Ceballos, Honorable Nilo Patilian, Honorable Edgar Ga, Honorable Samuel Tortor, and Honorable Edwin Elorde, Honorable Joseph Plaza, Honorable Pamela Yucosing, Honorable Avalonta Cejas, Liga ng Barangay President, Honorable Glenn Plaza, Provincial President PCL, Honorable Eric Ray Shohan, Provincial President of IPMR, Honorable Pablo Plaza, SK President, Honorable Joseph Emmanuel Banyosa, Staff of the Office of Vice Governor, Attorney Ebora May Montejo, Miss Vanessa Marie Yawyao, Mr. Byron Asis, and Miss Mary Ann Lariego.
To the guest of Honorable Eddie Bong Plaza from the 2nd District of Agusan del Sur and the guest of Honorable Alfel M. Bascug from the 1st District of Agusan del Sur, led by Vice Governor Patricia Andy Plaza. Ma'am, maayong pag-abot sa Balay Baloro Unanan. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I would also like to acknowledge the guests of Representative Laila De Lima of Mamamayang Liberal Party List, the grade 11 students of Lourdes School Mandaluyong and their companions, namely Eric Rafael Amaranto, River Schuyler Mackenzie Arcilia, Andre de Guzman, Christian Yubi Eloriaga, Travis Ervil Espin, Joaquin Carlos Hubag, Antonio Miguel Lagi, Justin Christian Manalo, Sky Franciscus Medina, Jasmine Sam Ochabilio, Lance Neo Rabatan, Sid Nathan Reyes, Louis Blaine Sabial, Anton Miguel Selga, Juan Miguel Soria, Matthew Aaron Tolentino, Agerico Abejo III, Aresna De Luna, Joe Vincent Aguila, Mary Claire Aquino, and Calvin Edward Coronado.
To the guest of Honorable Leila De Lima from Mamayang Liberal Party List, the young gentleman from Lourdes School of Mandaluyong. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to our rules, today being a Monday, I move to open the privilege hour.
There any objection? Chair hears none. Privilege hour is hereby opened. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the gentleman from APEC Party List, the Honorable Sergio Dagook, to avail of the privilege hour.
What is the nature of the matter on which the Honorable Dagook rises?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, everyone.
May we know the nature
This
of
is
which,
about the Agos and Pulangi hydroelectric power plant, Mr. Speaker.
the gentleman has 10 minutes.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader. Maayong hapon sa tanan. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I rise today on a matter that goes to the heart of energy sovereignty, regional equity, and national development. The ownership, operation, and control of the Agos and Pulangi hydroelectric complexes in Mindanao. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, this representation read a news report blatantly headlined 1,000 megawatt Agos Pulangi hydro power giant in Mindanao up for sale. As a Mindanaoan and working in the power industry for the last 42 years, I am not in favor since the beginning, even during the time that IPIRA was being deliberated, passing to 3 congresses. All of the Mindanao legislators objected that Agos and Pulangi be included in the privatization. That's why Section 45, subsection of IPIRA give an exemption to Agos and Pulangi for at least 10 years, that it will not be privatized. More than 25 years have passed. We have a negative experience on the power plants being privatized particularly the geothermal power plants of the government in Visayas. Prices rise up after privatization. Late last year, Mr. Speaker, it was reported that the power sector, Asset and Liabilities Management Corporation, o PISAM, is looking to raise somewhere between 40 billion to as much as 90 billion from the sale of Agos and Pulangi Hydroelectric Complex. PISAM President Dennis de la Serna himself said that he hopes that the concession of Agos and Pulangi Complex will be successful within the term of the President. This, including some news reports, hints or confirms that unsolicited proposals have been submitted to PISAM to place the Agos and Pulangi complexes under a PPP on a long-term concession. Concession na naman. Yung ating transmission asset, pinakonsesyon natin sa NGCP. Wala na tayong control. If this policy direction continues without Congress at the center of the process, we risk losing a public shield that keeps electricity affordable, particularly in the island of Mindanao, Mr. Speaker. Kaya lang naman po, competitive pa ang mga nagninegosyo sa Mindanao kasi mura ang ating kuryente because we are just buying 3 pesos per kilowatt hour from the capacity of Agos and Pulangi compared to the prevailing price of coal and other technology generating plants in Mindanao, which ranges from 6 pesos to 8 pesos. Napakalayo po. Pagkatapos, ipa-konsesyon natin kahit hindi ibenta, Mr. Speaker, the urgency of this issue is magnified by developments in the global energy landscape. Kahapon lang. Kaya hindi ako makatulog thinking na Siargao is only charging 8 pesos and 60 centavos per kilowatt hour compared to Meralco, a giant distribution utility, at 12 pesos. It's because I am contracting 70% of my demand, of my power requirement from Agos and Pulangi. That's why, napaka-hirap intindihin. Bakit ganon tayo? Binta ng binta, privatize ng privatize. This region accounts for a substantial portion of global oil production and export routes. Alam nating lahat yan. The strategic choke points such as the Strait of Hormuz, through which huge amount of world oil supply passes daily. Marami pa po tayong planta na krudo ang panggatong. Kaya magka-problema talaga tayo, lalong-lalo na sa mga ancillary na power plant. History has shown that whenever instability erupts in that region, global crude oil prices respond almost immediately. The threat of disruption, not the actual supply cuts, is enough to push oil upward. Markets react at risk, and when oil prices rise, generation cost of our oil-dependent power plants inevitably increase. The Philippines, while diversifying its generation mix, remains exposed to global fossil fuel volatility. Any significant increase in oil or coal prices filters into our power generation cost and eventually into the electricity bills of every ordinary Filipino consumers. Okay lang yung mga negosyante kasi pinapasa lang nila sa kanilang cost of products and services yung increase in electricity. Pero paano na po yung ordinary households? They are electricity end users. Wala na po silang mapapasahan. Mahal na nga. Then yung Mindanao, kung tataas yung ating presyo compared to Luzon and Visayas, yung mga planta doon ay maghinto ng production because they are no longer competitive to those who are located in Visayas and Mindanao. Kasi the remaining advantage is the lower cost of electricity in Mindanao. What will left in Mindanao? Unemployment, peace and order. This is not an ordinary issue of electricity. May mga kaakibat dito na mga malalaking problema, dagdag pasakit sa ating bansa. Peace and order, unemployment, nakawan na naman criminalities dahil wala ng trabaho yung mga tao, kumagsara yung mga manufacturing na nakalocate sa Mindanao because of lower cost of electricity. This is precisely, Mr. Speaker, why government-controlled fuel-free renewable assets like Agos and Pulangi are not optional luxuries. They are strategic buffers against geographical instability. Sana yung geothermal natin sa Leyte, hindi sana na pinaprivatize yun. Like the Agos and Pulangi. Mr. Speaker, EPIRA liberalized and privatized the Philippine power industry since 2001. Its objective was clear: to secure power supply, reduce electricity cost through competition, and to free the government from subsidizing the capital-intensive generation projects. Pero ang tanong, after more than 25 years, bumaba ba? Lahat ng ating binibinta, pinaprivatize na planta, almost double yung kanyang presyo. At wala na tayong control because ang generation is already deregulated. What remains heavily regulated is the transmission and distribution only. Under EPIRA, the government was directed to privatize our generation assets and its independent power producer contracts. Nagbabayad pa tayo in the case of the Deputy Speaker, yung planta sa Villanueva na istiyag, hanggang ngayon nagbabayad pa tayo ng stranded contract cost. That's part of the rate that we are paying. I think that's 6 to 8 centavos per kilowatt hour yung planta na yan sa Mindanao. At ang nagsusubsidize niyan partially ay yung kita natin sa Agos and Pulangi. Mr. Speaker, in all of this effort and plans towards privatization, Congress made a deliberate exception. It placed the Agos and Pulangi hydroelectric power plant complexes behind a guardrail. Its privatization is subject to PISAM's discretion in consultation with Congress. Napakalinaw po ang Section 45F ng EPIRA na ang Agos and Pulangi complexes were initially granted a 10-year reprieve from privatization. But in order to make sure that it would not get easily privatized, there exists a qualifier under that particular Section 47, Paragraph F. And I quote, the privatization of Agos and Pulangi complexes shall be left to the discretion of PISAM in consultation with Congress. I was there when this wordings was crafted. It is introduced by the legislators of Mindanao, particularly the representative of Zamboanga, Congressman Lobregat and Congressman Ropos Rodriguez, na ang ibig sabihin sa in consultation with Congress, kailangan may approval sa Joint Congressional Power Commission. That is before GCPC, and now it is renamed as Joint Congressional Energy Commission o GCEC. So, dapat idaan ni PISAM ang kanilang mga plano sa Oversight Committee ng Kongreso. Hindi sila padalos-dalos, lalong-lalo na po in the case of Agos and Pulangi in Mindanao. Why there is such a provision? Because Congress, particularly the representation from Mindanao, recognize the strategic and developmental importance of those two power plants on national security. Kaya nga, when the electric cooperatives of Mindanao was consulted during the deliberation of the BARM law, our position would be the Agos complexes should still remain with the national government because of the importance of that power plants in our national security. And yet today, discussions of selling or privatizing the operation of Agos and Pulangi complexes appear to be advancing without transparent and formal consultation process with Congress. Why is there movement toward privatization before Congress has even been formally consulted? Mr. Speaker, this representation is fully aware that PISAM was created by law to privatize government-owned power assets so that it could settle the financial obligations of the National Power Corporation. But Agos and Pulangi complexes are special. They are special assets and needs a different treatment or approach, which is whatever you are going to do with them, it should be in consultation with Congress. So I ask again, Mr. Speaker, why is Congress not at the center of this plan or conversation? We were not even consulted on this. Let me emphasize, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the law provides, and I say it once again, the privatization of Agos and Pulangi complexes shall be left to the discretion of PISAM in consultation with Congress. The additional praise in consultation of Congress in that paragraph was not an accidental language. We did not put this simply as a procedural decoration. It was a safeguard for the people of Mindanao and to the national security in particular. Congress reserved for itself through the Joint Congressional Energy Commission the oversight authority over the fate of these assets. Mr. Speaker, the Agos and Pulangi hydropower complexes are the central pillar of Mindanao's power system. It supplies more than half of the island's electricity requirements with a combined installed capacity of approximately 1,000 megawatt. They constitute the largest indigenous generation block in the Mindanao grid. The Agos and Pulangi complexes, composed of cascading hydroelectric power plants from Lake Lanao down to Maracastina Falls, maximizes energy output from a single watershed. Kaya po, kahit isang planta lang yan, nagkaroon po ng maraming sub-power plant. Kaya mayroon tayong Agos 1, Agos 2, Agos 3. Because the water is being maximized. It is designed to maximize the potential electricity that we can produce. Mr. Speaker, that power plant powers key industrial zones including Iligan City, heavy manufacturing sector in Mindanao, and Zamboanga. Meanwhile, the 255 megawatt Pulangi 4 plant in Bukidnon integrates energy security with agricultural stability by generating electricity and supporting irrigation and potable water system. Imagine yung Pulangi, may irrigation pa, may kurente pa tayo. Tapos, ipamanage natin yung operasyon. In a grid of Mindanao, historically vulnerable to supply-demand imbalances, the reliability and controllability of hydro make these facilities indispensable in preventing rotational brownouts and moderating price spikes. Because they are fuel-free, Agos and Pulangi shield Mindanao from imported fossil fuel volatility and foreign exchange pressures, helping maintain lower and more stable generation cost in Mindanao. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, especially my colleagues in Mindanao, these hydro-powered electric plants are in fact economic stabilizers of the entire region of Mindanao. Unlike thermal power plants that rely on imported coal or oil index fuel contracts, hydropower from Agos and Pulangi does not depend on international commodity market. Their fuel source is water, domestic, renewable, and sovereign. Kaya inexplain po na po kanina gaano kahalaga ang Agos and Pulangi. And this solution translates into economic protection for Filipino consumers. At a time like this, na may kaguluhan, tayo sa Middle East. But if privatization will proceed, it has long been foreseen, and industry stakeholders have repeatedly warned that a private sector takeover of these power plants would likely increase prices in Mindanao. Why? Because private investors are profit-oriented. Hindi natin sila masisisi. Iyon talaga ang negosyo eh. Kailangan nilang kumita. They are accountable to their stakeholders and they are driven by return on investment. We do not blame them. That is the truth of their nature, Mr. Speaker. This statement is not a criticism. It is a fact of business. Because when profit becomes the primary driver of dispatch and pricing, upward pressure on electricity rates become inevitable. The other day, nabasa ko sa dyaryo, ang Meralco nag-declare ng 50 billion na kita. Ay, wala pong ang mga electric cooperatives, walang i-declare na ganyan because we are non-profit. Pero ang mga private, with all due respect, paligsahan sila kung sino ang malaking kita. Saan ang galing yung pera na yan? E di sa ating electricity end users. Eh kung hindi pa malaki yung kita nila, ay sana mababa yung singil sa ating kuryente. Ganon ang mangyayari dito kapag ka ipa-operate natin ng private. And yung mga example is very clear. Lahat ng planta natin na naibenta na, lalong-lalo na ang geothermal sa Leyte. Wala. Tumaas, almost double yung presyo. So, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, our Constitution directs the state to promote national development and ensure a more equitable distribution of opportunities. The policy of the state to promote economic development of Mindanao must be recognized and upheld. Kasi Pilipino din ang naninirahan sa Mindanao. Mindanao cannot compete if its power costs rise unnecessarily. Mindanao cannot industrialize if its baseload, yung planta na ginagamit ngayon sa Agos Pulangi, baseload at ancillary, regulating reserve. Ang ibig sabihin, pag humina yung supply galing dito sa Visayas, papunta sa Mindanao, ginagamit natin 40% ng capacity ng Pulangi to regulate the grid para hindi magmukhang Christmas light yung ating kuryente sa Mindanao na iiglap-iglap. Anong tawag sa Tagalog niyan? No? It will flicker without the regulating reserve from the Agos hydro complexes. So, Mindanao cannot develop if its strategic renewable backbone is surrendered to private entities. In a world where energy has become a geopolitical lever, where oil supply routes can be disputed by war, strengthening public control over indigenous renewable assets, generating plans of the government is not ideological. It is strategic. Mr. Speaker, a long-term concession transferring operational control, revenue rights, and dispatch authority will eventually amount to de facto privatization. And privatization of these assets is a strategic policy shift with long-term and unacceptable and probably irreparable consequences. To do such policy shift, at the minimum, the law requires PISAM to consult Congress. A consultation that is meaningful and with the welfare of the people of Mindanao as the core point of discussion. But today, Mr. Speaker, I say this clearly. It is not enough that privatization will leave to the discretion of PISAM in consultation with Congress. This kind of framework leaves room for future vulnerability. Hence, I encourage my fellow Mindanaoan legislators and everyone in this august chamber to declare a stronger framework and principle in privatizing the remaining assets, generating assets of the government. Let us permanently exempt the Agos and Pulangi from privatization. Let us declare strategic and non-transferable national energy assets let us strengthen public ownership and public accountability of the remaining assets of the government, particularly the Agos and Pulangi. These assets belong to the Filipino people. They were built by public funds, and so this should serve public interest and stabilize public welfare. They should remain permanently in public hands, particularly to the people of Mindanao. We are witnessing a world where energy has become a geopolitical weapon. We may not be able to control conflicts in Middle East, and we cannot dictate global crude benchmark, but we can decide whether our largest indigenous renewable hydro complexes remain under public stewardship. Agos and Pulangi represent stability again in a stable world. And stability, Mr. Speaker, is priceless. I hope that our colleagues, and particularly in Mindanao, will support this cause. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Very well said. Majority Leader.
Gangster, you know, we do that better than anybody. I bet you got it twisted, you don't know who to trust. So many player hating niggas trying to sound like us. Say they ready for the front, but I don't think they know it. Straight to the depths of hell is where them cowards going. Well, all you still down, nigga, holler when you see me. And let these devils be sorry for the day they finally free me. I got a caravan of niggas every time we ride. Hitting motherfuckers up when we pass by. Until I die, live a life of